Hello everybody, Levi Clay here, and in today's Piano for Guitar Players we are going to be looking at mastering our major triads in 12 keys. Now I know that sounds like quite a daunting task, but for those of you that have studied guitar with me, you know that triads are a fundamental way in which I teach and the way in which I view my guitar, and they are just as useful, if not more useful, on the piano. Now of course there are only 12 major triads for us to learn, which seems like a lot, but it's actually a very finite number. So I'm going to show you some tricks today to help you start to visualize these, get practice in these, and use these as an ear training tool, as a tool for practice in your guitar playing, and of course for developing some basic arranger's piano skills or transcription skills, if you like. So if you are enjoying these lessons, please do check out the link in the description to my Patreon page where you can get a further lesson on this subject where we'll go through and practice these things in a lot more detail. And of course there are hundreds of transcriptions and weekly guided practice routines and ear training videos, and you can even get private lessons with me over there. So thanks for the support. Anyway, let's look at the piano. So last time we were dealing in our major triads in the key of C and the inversions of those. So we played a C major triad that looked like this, C, E and G, and we played inversions of those triads. So we got to grips with those, and what we learned was that in the key of C, if we look at this physical shape, a white key, and a white key, that appears 3 times in the key of C. So already, of the 12 possible major triads available to us, we've already learned 3 of them. Now, this method of learning to play things diatonically in key is wonderful. It's very good for scale practice and having a level of organisation to our practice where we maybe practice in keys around the circle of fifths. These are great, but it takes up a lot of time to be able to do that. Now, more recently, I was reading up on some of Michael Brecker's ways that he likes to practice things. And Michael Brecker, one of my favourite musicians, he likes to take things up in fixed intervals. So he might take a concept and practice it moving up in minor thirds or moving up in tones, or in this case moving up chromatically. Now for the piano playing, I found that practicing things moving chromatically has been really, really good for me, because it helps us in the early stages to get a grip of what the basic shapes are, and then when we start fleshing those things out with scales, inversions, arpeggios and the like, we're not scared of these black keys. And that's, I think, is the most important thing. The amount of students I've had that when talking about learning some piano, they say, oh, well, I can play, I can transcribe that thing if it's in the key of C. And I know what they mean by that. What they mean by that is, well, I know all of the notes that are available to me in the key of C. It's all of these white keys. So they just want to play in those keys, or that key, I should say. But the reality is, it's harder to play things in the key of C because that's where you will have to stretch your hand the most. It's much easier for me to play like an A flat chord, like this. My hand is bunched together, than it is for me to, if I play the same equivalent in C, I'm having to stretch my hand out more. So you have to do a little bit more work, and there's less of an area for you to play in when you're playing in just the key of C, but when you use those black keys, your hand comes up here, you have a lot more space to play around with. So we don't want to be scared of those black keys. So what we're going to do today is we're going to take our C major triad that we've learned, and we're just going to move it up chromatically. So C is going to move up to D flat, E will move up to F, and G is going to move up to A flat. So C goes to D flat, C, D flat. Now I'm arpeggiating those, but you could. Now what you notice is my entire hand, moves up into those black keys. And it's actually the same physical shape to me. It's what I would call a straight line. If you look here, we've got all white keys, and then my hand goes up into the black keys, and I'm playing straight across like this. That's just a way that I'm thinking, way I'm visualizing. There's no like actual straight line there, but it's just how I'm categorizing in my mind. So C goes to D flat. Now the beauty of this is that just like with our C major chord, which had 3 other places, or I guess technically three places total, but 2 other places, F and G, where we play the exact same shape. The same is true of this chord voicing. When we play this D flat major triad, that's going to exist on the D flat and the E flat and the A flat. It's the exact same grip with our hand. So if you were to spend time getting familiar with what that feels like, you're going to be comfortable, more confident to be able to play these major triads when you need them. So C goes to D flat. Next we have D. So D flat is going to move to D, F is going to move to F sharp, and A flat is going to move to A. So D major looks like this. Now this I describe as a triangle because we have our thumb down here, pinky finger over here, and then our middle finger is reaching up. We've got this little triangle shape when we play that. D major, D, F sharp, and A. I've got my notation telling you it's the key of C, so it's going to call this a G flat, but F sharp. And we could go back and forth between these. C, D flat, D, and back, D flat, C, C, D flat, D. Straight line on the white keys, straight line on the black keys, triangle. Sorry, it's a minor triad. So good thing to practice. Now, of course, from our D, when we move up to the E flat, well, we've already played this. This is our straight line on those black keys. Black key, white key, black key. So C, D flat, D, E flat. C, D flat, D, E flat. From here we're going to move to an E chord. Now, I'm not going to move the notes up one at a time. I'm going to play it for you and then point out, oh, this looks like that triangle shape that we played. Because again, when we play this D major and we have this triangle shape forming, that applies in 3 places, on a D, on an E, and on an A. The exact same grip with my hand. So E, E flat, D, D flat, C. C, C sharp, D, D sharp, E. Now we already know F is our 3 white keys. The amount of time that I've spent just doing that, because we want this to be like an automatic process. The relationships between these things. D, where am I? D, E flat. Not an E minor. So C, D flat, D, E flat, E, F. Now when we go from our F, F, A, C, we get F sharp, A sharp, C sharp, or G flat, B flat, D flat. Now this is one of the 3 shapes that we have to learn that's its own thing. So I call this the all black shape because we're playing 3 black keys. Now it's still up in those black keys and we're still straight line, but it's 3 black keys. So F sharp or G flat is 3 black keys. Practice going from F to G flat, sorry, F to G flat. Again, it feels like the same thing. I'm playing 3 white keys, then I move up and I'm playing straight line 3 black keys. If you want to make your life a little bit more interesting, maybe we put the E major chord before it. E, F, F sharp. Not too difficult. Now from here, we have a G major chord. 3 white keys. From G major we go to A flat, which is our D flat, E flat, A flat shape. straight line up in those black keys. A major, it's our triangle form. 3 white keys, 3 black keys, 3 white keys, play the triangle, straight line black keys, triangle, straight line black keys, straight line white keys. C, D flat, D, E flat, E, F, F sharp, G, A flat, A. Should really say G sharp if I'm using sharps, I guess. So we've got almost there. We've got 10 of the 12 things we need to learn. Now, if we move the A to a B flat, A moves up to B flat, C sharp moves to a D, E moves to an F, and we're going to get... Now, I think of this as being a diagonal shape. I think of my thumb as being up here, and my little finger, although I'm not literally fingering like that, in my mind, that's what it looks like. B flat, D and F. And I like there's a little mirror that happens here because B flat, D and F goes to B, D sharp, F sharp, which is another diagonal, but this time I have my pinky up on the black key and my thumb down on this white key. So we have a diagonal line like this. So B flat is this, B is this. B flat, B. I mean, not that you would, but you could go C, D flat, D, E flat, E, F, F sharp, G, A flat, A, B flat, B, back to C. I'm just kind of drawing lines in the air to help me, or to help you see what I'm visualizing there. That's all there is to it. Once we go from the B, we're back at the C. So if we spend our time with this, C, D flat, D, E flat, E, F, G flat, G, A flat, A, B flat, B, C, we've got all of our major triads. And we have to spend our time going back and forth between these because this needs to be an automated process. It feels like a lot to learn, but again, when you break it down and you think to yourself, oh, I have 3 of these shapes, I have 3 of these shapes, I have 3 of these shapes, then I have to learn 3 black keys, diagonal and diagonal. That should put you in a position where no matter what note you play, you should be able to put a major chord on that. Doesn't matter if I use this hand, I go, this note, what is this? This is a D, D is here, that's my D major chord. Move my hand around, what's this? This is an A flat. Move my hand around, and I'm looking at you, and specifically, let's play this note. F. Move my hand around. G flat. So you can hopefully see where we're going to go with this. Once you can comfortably do this and use this as a visualization thing, we then just want to add that left hand in. So if we could go maybe individual notes first. E, F, F sharp, G, A flat, A, B flat, B, C. That's me just one finger. I'm not trying to be clever. I'm not trying to use any like chromatic scale fingerings, which is a thing that I am planning on teaching you. But just using whatever finger you feel comfortable doing that with. So that's me doing that with a single note in the left hand, but of course we could do an octave. C goes to D flat, to D, E flat, E, F, F sharp, G, A flat, A, B flat, B, and we're back at C. So there's really the exercise you want to be working towards. Taking your time and going, it's just major chords, right? We can look at our hands as we're doing it. Takes a little bit of getting used to, moving 2 hands at once. A little bit harder even more when you're talking while you're doing it. But, what are we on? A. A flat, G. Sorry. Should really look at this keyboard. Okay. So again, nice and slow. C to D flat to D, E flat, E, F, F sharp, G, A flat, A, B flat, B, C. Coming down, repeat C, B, B flat, A flat, G. It feels like a lot, and of course it is a lot, but it puts us in this position where we become more comfortable feeling and seeing those chromatic movements. We don't want to be kind of put out in a situation where we have to play like, if I'm playing like, see that chromatic move I put in there? I don't want to have to think about that. I need to know what it means to make that movement. So no thought is happening with that chromatic motion because I've spent so much time taking my major triad shapes in my right hand and moving them chromatically. Now that was an inversion of a major triad, but the core concept is still there. We should just be able to do this. So that's all I want you to practice, and really thinking chromatically with this. If you get to a stage where you want to be a little bit more interesting in there, then maybe you practice moving it in whole tones. C, we go to D, which would go to E, which would go to G sharp, F sharp, sorry, to A flat, to B flat, and then we're back at C. If you want to move things around like that, you could do that. Totally do this. It's like triads in a whole tone scale. Or you could do the same thing starting on our D flat, and we'd have D flat goes to E flat, we go to F, go to G, A, B, back to the D flat. You know, do minor thirds to C, moving to E flat. Distracting myself with diminished voicings there. We don't need to go that far. If you want to give yourself the challenge, they're absolutely there. Introduce the left hand, and that should absolutely give you something to work on. So hopefully that made some sense. If you have any questions, please do sound off in that comment section below. Head on over to Patreon so you can do a full practice session with me on this particular subject. Hopefully I will see you there. If not, looking forward to chatting to you below. Thanks so much for watching this video, and I will see you for another Piano for Guitarists in 2 weeks. See you there.